everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Drop Stitches. I am Melissa, also known as Shenanigans, and normally I am the Dungeon Master. But tonight I am actually going to be handing the reins over to one of our players to yet be announced for the new chapter of the story arc. So I am very excited to do that for you guys. Also, as a note, we are no longer, you will probably notice, we are no longer streaming Dungeons and Drop Stitches. We were having a little too many issues with stream quality, so we just decided to record it and then we will be uploading it after our session. So just like a normal knitting podcast, we just won't be going live. And it makes us feel a lot better because we don't have to all be on time for you guys. So that works. I am coming to you guys from Pensacola, Florida, and I am currently knitting on my Jelly Roll sweater, which can't see super well because it's in dark colors, but it is pretty cool. And I'm really excited for tonight. So, Jenna, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hi. I am Jenna. I play Ren, the half-elf sorcerer. My pronouns are she and her, and I am working on my Battle Before Brunch socks, which is a colorway inspired by our campaign.
Ooh, can you hold them closer?
Yeah, I just started on the
toes. Great.
Oh, so I'm doing 2 at a time vanilla, and I love the way the color works. It's hard to see on camera, but there's a lot of yellow and white and pink with these shocks of purple.
Ooh,
awesome.
Ooh. And glitter.
Jen, you made a shawl out of it? Oh, that's great.
Oh.
Yeah, so hang on. That's the colour when it comes out in a shawl. Not that yellow stripe. Hang on. I'll find a bigger section.
Ooh.
Ooh, lovely.
There we go.
I love how that turned out.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Looks so good.
Tell everybody about me.
All right. Exciting. Thank you, Jenna. Vincent, could you introduce yourself, please? Vincent, could you introduce yourself?
Sorry. No worries. The connection was unstable. All right. Hi, my name is Vincent. I am playing Matthias Montgomery. You could also find me on Instagram at the Knit Owl. And currently, I am knitting Unabridged by Alicia Plummer. So I'm making myself a sweater vest. That's taking me forever because I have to multiple gauge swatch this.
Yeah.
Oh, and awesome. Also my pronouns are he and his. There we go.
Great. Awesome. Chanel, could you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Chanel. I play the Elven Cleric Tavern. You can find me on the internet as Piper Nell. And I am crocheting still on my portal crop top. And it's almost done.
Ooh, that looks awesome.
It's looking like it'll be warm enough soon, knock on wood, to wear it.
Just come visit me down in Florida. It'll be warm enough.
Yeah. Oh, and my pronouns are they, them, and theirs.
Thank you. All right. Jen, if you could introduce yourself, please, that would be great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen. I'm in Queensland, Australia, and I play Agna. And my pronouns in real life and in Dungeons and Dragons are she and her. I'm wearing a one skein shawl. I can't even remember the name of it, but it's using Jenna's Brunch Before Battle yarn, and I've put a little bit of yellow in there because it does have, when you knit it up, it does have quite a bit of yellow in there. Yeah. And I'm working on, speaking of yellow, because I love yellow at the moment, I'm working on my Camp Wilkinson wrap. It's coming along, just about done.
Oh, it's so great. I love it.
I know, it's really bright. I'm really into pinks and yellows. Have been for about 6 months. So, yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I think that shawl is Spindrift by Helen Stewart. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep. You're right.
That's a great pattern you can get for free on Ravelry. And I have knit a couple of those. I really like them. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Amanda, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Amanda, and I have a frog in my throat.
Hello, Amanda's frog.
I play Yvelda, the half-orc barbarian. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm working on some socks. I think they're called Time Traveler socks with some cat sandwich fibers yarn. And yeah,
Awesome.
got everything right.
Yep, that's it. All right, and thank you guys for introducing yourselves. We're excited to bring you guys another exciting episode. So I am going to delve into where we left off. So the last time we were able to play together, all of you guys found out, and quite a dramatic telepathic message to Ren, that the matriarch of her family, Baif, had died. That she received only this very small amount of information in the message, but the unsaid words held a great deal of information, and Ren immediately knew that she needed to return home as soon as possible. It was a little bit unsettling for you guys to see your friend in such a tizzy when normally she's so level-headed, but you went along with it. You went with her, and on your way to her ancestral home, you stopped at a tavern, where Tavin ran into his former prison mate and friend, Matthias, who was playing the bagpipes in the tavern band. You got into a bit of a brawl with some unhappy clients of the tavern, and I believe it ended with Matthias turning the floor to lava.
The floor is lava.
And all of you getting thrown out of the tavern by its owner, a gnomish man who was very much not satisfied with the floor of his tavern turning into illusionary lava. So you all have been thrown out on your asses on the cobblestone outside of this tavern. There's blood stains, there's nicks and cuts, and you all have taken a little bit of damage in this ensuing battle, and now you can take a breath, and Tavin, Matthias, you finally have a chance to say something to the friend that you have not seen in a very long time, and not seen for what feels like a lifetime.
Maybe for some fucker.
So how are you after that prison break?
I don't really remember it. It honestly felt a lot like what just happened in there. Like everything was on fire, and at least I found you outside this time. But yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, don't worry. There's a better tavern somewhere here. They water down the drinks in there.
Okay, yeah, I think we just need to sleep. This is a lot. How did you get out of there, by the way?
Get out of. Oh yeah, no. I got out of there because I found the bagpipes, and pretty much like nobody wants to be around that bagpipe. So that's how I guess I made my escape. Come on.
Okay.
You know, it's an instrument and also it's a weapon. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, because so you couldn't always do that. The whole lava thing. It seemed to come pretty naturally to you, the whole fire stuff.
Yeah. It does sometimes.
I mean, yeah. It's been how long now? It's 1 or 2 years, right? It's been kind of a blur for me. I guess I met up with these people. We got kidnapped. We were in the Underdark for a while, and
can I tag along?
We're not going back there.
Oh, like I'm just saying now. From now on, can I
Oh.
tag along?
Yeah, if you do more of that magic stuff, that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Plus, if you've got snacks, you can definitely come.
Ooh, snacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
did.
love that. I did love that s'mores. Those s'mores.
I definitely took a little bowl of like the bar
little
peanuts that I
fleshy
was snacking on.
A little fleshy.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably saw. I guess Matthias, I've learned some new tricks too, so I think we'll get along. I don't know if we ever got along, but I think we'll have a working relationship for now.
Gotcha. Well, I did help you break out of that prison. Like I was like, how long have you been there again?
Way longer than you had.
I was there for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I was there for 50 years, and this, like, I don't know, whirlwind just shows up, and...
You're welcome.
I do have you to thank for that. Thank you. I guess I never got to thank you for that.
You're welcome. All right, so where to now, guys?
Yeah, I guess let's find a better tavern that we haven't pissed off, and then I guess we should be on our way to Ren's folks.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
Again, guys.
as you're having this conversation about like, oh, can I come with you guys? One of your bandmates like tosses your case for your bagpipes, I guess, your bagpipes case.
I need that case.
Tosses it, and it like tumbles open on the cobblestone, and a bunch of your stuff goes flying, and the few gold coins that they gave you from the pot, from your earnings went.
Oh my god, I get tips this time.
Yeah. And they say, good riddance to you, and slam the tavern door as everybody's cleaning themselves up, cleaning up the tavern. They don't seem sorry to see you go. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. That's all right. There's more taverns out there.
Yeah. How long had you been there? How many nights had you played? Typical. Typical.
All right, so you guys are easily able to find a more hospitable tavern to stay the night in, and you guys you're able to get a good night's rest. You continue on your journey. It isn't long until Ren, starts to. You can see visibly that she's a little bit more excited. Getting closer to home, she starts to walk a little faster, and you're almost there. And Jenna, could you take over DMing?
I sure can.
All right.
So it takes what feels like another day's walk. You're not entirely sure where she's leading you, but Ren seems very determined in her stride. She kind of veers off the standard course, and seems to head into what looks like a weird forest that edges the end of what is the land leading into the actual ocean. So you're pretty confused about where she's going, but she just heads straight into that forest. Do you follow her?
Yes.
Yeah.
So taking you off the beaten path, you watch her as she seems to just book it through this forest. It seems like there's actually a very cleared, very manicured path leading to and from. It's very it's very beaten down by footprints leading to and from. It looks like this is actually a very well-worn path, despite it not being entirely obvious to find in the first place. And as you reach to the forest, you notice down quite a ways into where the land rolls into the sea, you see a very, very suspicious looking dock with several boats attached. And Ren seems to just be completely approaching that with total confidence. There is no ferryman. There is no one guarding it. The boats seem to just exist to be used. You're not sure why they haven't been stolen yet, but but Ren seems to confidently stride up to one of the boats and begins undocking it. Without a word, she motions for you all to get into the boat and grabs the oars off of the side and puts them into the boat. Once you're all inside the boat, it seems to propel itself forward of its own volition, and it seems to be going in a path that is pretty much magically enforced, as the current tries to push you back into shore, but the boat charges forward confidently. Your companion is completely quiet as she is looking at her notes, scratching things out with a quill that she has, and mumbling to herself.
Hey, Ren, you still doing okay?
Who knows? And then she goes back to scribbling furiously. Eventually, after what seems like a good half hour of strained conversation between the group, you notice a thick fog rolling in, coming seemingly out of nowhere. You are suddenly surrounded by a very, very dense fog, and a chill sweeps down your back, and all of a sudden you feel completely observed. Any idle conversation that was happening drifts away as the fog seems to somehow thicken, and dread sinks into your consciousness like cold fingernails into your skin. The sounds of the water lapping against the boat disappear as that cold seeps deep down into your bones. Your companion looks completely unperturbed by this, her stony expression in place as she keeps scanning her notes. She does seem to finally put away her quill, though, and her notes, and looks up in anticipation of what you assume is arrival. The fog is a thick wall, but all of a sudden, a dark form breaks through it. And you see a very dark, very, albeit meticulously updated dock. It is very intimidating. The wood looks sharper and darker somehow against the contrast of the fog. The boat stops itself, and Ren hitches it up to the dock and effortlessly glides out of it. She does not wait for you to accompany her as she darts off into the mist.
Yeah, follow.
So you follow her determined stride to see her approaching a carriage, its surface lacquered a sinking black that seems to eat the light around it. An ancient-looking man sits atop the driver's seat, cooing to a dark horse attached to the front of the carriage. "Ah, Miss Ren, you've returned," the man croaks out, sending a needle-toothed smile toward your friend. Ren simply nods to him without looking and says, "Good evening, Igor. To the manor, please." She looks at all of you while opening the carriage door and gestures inside expectantly. And once you are inside the carriage, she sustains her stony silence. but you can tell she has a million thoughts running through her mind right now. And she taps the floor. She taps her knee nervously with her long manicured nail. Is there anything you'd like to ask your companion while you're in this extremely creepy carriage?
Where are we going?
Yeah,
Oh.
Matthias, this is most likely like really, really jarring for you because you just met these people and you're like, hey, it's my friend, and then like you've just gone into like the weirdest island, the weirdest, like you're being asked to get into this creepy carriage and you're like, what have I signed up for?
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're from this area, you do recognize this as the Isle of Death, where families go to take their past loved ones. But if you're not from around here, it's just a creepy island.
Where are we again? We're on like the coast?
We're on the coast. We had it established as Melissa, do you remember? Let me pull up the map.
Yeah, let me get the map.
That might determine if Tavin's ever been there.
Tavin would have probably heard about it, but I think elven burial rituals are very different from like, because I mean, it's very possible that he actually would have been very familiar.
Well, along the, it's depending on where the coast, there's a certain point like he hasn't been south of.
Yeah, so it's probably further south than he's been.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been here.
I think it was off of the coast of like past the coast of the, like just off the coast of the Sword Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
That cluster of islands.
Yeah, that's farther south than he's ever been.
Probably.
Yeah. So it's a little bit it's north of Waterdeep. Yeah, off the coast of the Sword Mountains.
So if you're in the area, if you're in the Neverwinter area, if you spend any time in like the Evermoors, the Sword Mountains, the Star Mountains, or Waterdeep, you probably know about this place.
Yeah. Basically, all of the like upper crust families of any of the nearby regions, including Waterdeep, would send their dead to this island and to be taken care of by the Kellogg family. So they're very well connected with the high society members of Waterdeep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had like passed it on a couple of, like trips out of Neverwinter, but didn't really care about it or didn't hear about it.
Yeah, people usually don't care about it until they need to go there.
And he didn't have the money or family connections to care about it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So Ren looks over at Matthias for what seems like the first time, really registering his addition to the party, and kind of introduces herself and says, "Right, right. I am Ren Kellogg. I am the business administrator of the Kellogg Manor and Mortuary. Perhaps the successor, who knows now. It's nice to meet you. I suppose you'll meet my family soon."
Nice to finally meet you formally.
So if no one else has any questions for Ren, so as you're moving forward, you look outside and you notice a lot of very tall, very foreboding, pale, almost looking like they're bleached white trees with dark thorny branches. They have carvings in them that look almost like eyes. And they seem to, if you stare too hard at the forest, they seem to blink back at you with a wink. But that's hard to tell because of all the fog and how dark it is. But you don't get a lot of comfort from the gesture. And if you are looking outside of the window at any point, you probably reel back into the safety of the carriage. But soon after a time, the crunching of wheels on gravel abruptly changes to the horse hooves clopping on what you assume is cobblestone. You peer out of the window and you see a massive wrought iron fence looming before you. It winds across the land and disappears into the misty forest that winks at you. A screech sounds and pains your ears as what must be a long gate opens for your arrival. Igor turns back as he leads the horse through the gate and announces proudly, "Welcome to the Kellock Manor." He steers the carriage around a very large circular courtyard where you can finally see a very twisted looking fountain with of what you would think is a raven, but it's so twisted and gnarled. But its wings are extended high, sloping over its head, and its beak seems to call out towards the sky. And as you look back, as you turn the corner, you notice the what looks like a human-looking skeleton has been carved to be resting against the raven's wings. You look outside of the other window and you notice the actual manor is extremely intimidating. Its towers spiral into the sky, connected to the house by buttresses that are packed full of just brutal filigree. Dark stone is cut harshly with panels of cut glass that is so dusty it gives you no indication that anything living has ever resided here. Statues that seem to grimace in horror and pain line the facade, and all of the stone is brutal, weather-worn, and dark, but somehow gives a feeling of being alive. This is the Kellock Manor, final resting place to hundreds and the childhood home of your friend. Igor pulls the carriage to a stop and looks down at you and says, "Off you go, you lot. I imagine Madame Robin will want to meet you." And Ren opens the carriage door and guides out and helps you all out of the carriage. Well, everyone who needs it. You look out and you see even the stone steps are dark and foreboding. And as Igor drives the carriage back off into the mist, she leads you up the stone steps and to a doorway that towers over you. The wood of the door is thick and carved deeply with the visage of two weeping figures framed by intricate designs that run the length of the doorway. Ren reaches out to a thick metal knocker in the shape of a skull and uses it to pound 3 times as a request for entry. You wait for what seems like 10 minutes with Ren still not making a move at all, and then you hear a muffled crash through the doorway and some sort of cursing and then pounding footsteps leading up to the doorway. And just before the heavy door is wrenched open, you can hear Ren sighing and mumbling a curse under her breath as she pinches her forehead in frustration. The door is opened and a tall, grinning half-elf woman looks out at you. Her resemblance to Ren is striking, but she is noticeably older and she wears her long white hair slicked back from her face. You can see she's wearing deceptively simple black robes, but they are tailored to perfectly fit her lithe form. Atop her chest sits a brooch that matches the one that Ren always wears around her neck. She grabs Ren's face in her hands and says, "Rennie, baby!" And she cups her daughter's face in her hand and plants kisses all over her cheeks. You see Ren visibly stiffen and hold her hand so much that her knuckles crack, but she allows the woman to do her worst. Once she's planted kisses of black lipstick all over Ren's face, she turns and looks at the group and she says, "Oh, who are they? It's so unlike you to have friends."
Oh.
And she looks at all of you expectantly.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Ren sighs and mumbles, "We will do introductions later. Just let me in." And she brushes it off like Ren didn't even say anything and says, "Come in, come in. There's plenty of food for everyone. There's drinks too." And she leads you inside. You enter a large foyer with a dark stairway that spirals around the entire edge of the room. You see along its ascent tons, what must be hundreds of hanging portraits of what you assume are the Kellic family members and very notable people who have been buried here, judging by the way that you see this woman in almost every painting standing very proudly with her hand on top of the casket.
Um, as Tavin walks through, is there any sign of religious icons?
No, there is no specific religious icon, but you do notice in the painting they do have almost every religious icon for every specific person. So they're non-denominational until you have a preference.
He's just checking if he's trespassing.
Oh, that's very polite. No, this house has not been blessed and is not devoted to any particular god.
Okay.
But that was very polite of you. She leads you through the foyer, which seems to be very large as your footsteps echo on the tiled floor, and into an even larger room that is very round. The ceilings are so high and that the voices in the room all bounce off and echo in its vaulted recesses. One wall, the far wall, is made entirely of those narrow glass panes, allowing you to look out into the massive graveyard that sits behind the manor. You see a small group of people who seem to be milling about with goblets in hand, speaking to each other, and they seem to be having fun and having a good time just talking to each other. The woman turns around after walking up to after a very very beautiful half elf woman walks up to her, and she places her arm around this newcomer's waist and turns and says, "Ren, why don't you introduce your friends to the family?" So before you can get your introductions in, Ren walks forward and rolls her eyes. She gestures for you to follow her as she approaches the small group. They all turn to look at you excitedly, and you can instantly tell that this is one family unit. The woman who has her arm around the other woman walks up with you and grabs her own goblet. Ren motions towards the two and says, "These are my mothers, Robin and Bella." You can tell that the woman with the long hair and the grifter's attitude is Robin, and the beautiful half elf is next to her is Bella. She wears a long red gown trimmed with black fur that only accentuates the beauty of her dark skin and her hair. And her hair has been placed in very meticulous plaits that are set, and you can tell very purposefully arranged to give herself the most attractive framing for her face. You can tell she is the same age as Robin, but she wears it a lot better. And next to them stand two much younger half elf women. One is in a gossamer white dress that flows around her, much like her dark curly hair seems to float around her frame. She smiles serenely at all of you with very warm eyes, while the young woman beside her, who is clothed in black leather and lace, examines you with a smirk. Her hair is in much tighter curls and is styled to frame her face, and her lipstick is pitch black. Ren motions and says, Dove and Kestrel, my sisters. And she then guides you to another couple sitting with a newborn baby swaddled in their arms. The man is large and kind looking with light brown hair and smile lines around his eyes. And the woman beside him is much shorter and is alarmingly cute for someone in this environment. Her orange hair is cut short to fall around her round cheeks, and her gentle coo at the baby in her arms makes you feel much more at ease. You feel instantly more comfortable around this woman. There's a young man kind of hanging over the couch in between them and pinching the baby's cheeks. He looks like an oddly perfect mixture of the two people, but is very wiry and skinny, with a shock of bright orange hair pointing straight up at the sky, large goggles, and a white button-up coat that make him look like very much the mad scientist. Ren motions my uncle Thrush, his wife Piper, and their son Sparrow. The woman looks up and gives you a dazzling smile, and you feel very charmed by her. And she says softly, "Dear, you forgot little Starling," and motions to the newborn. Ren scratches the back of her neck uncomfortably and says, "Yes, well, I didn't know about him." You can tell you can tell he was very recently born, and she is very embarrassed to not know about this newest member of her family. And uh, in her embarrassment, she kind of falters and says, "All of you, why, please introduce yourselves." So whoever wants to go first introducing themselves.
Hello, my name is Matthias Montgomery, and I am a half-elf who is a bard.
It's nice to meet you, dear, Piper says warmly.
It's nice to meet you. You have a really lovely home.
Oh, thank you, dear. We just got the new spider webs in.
Ah, love them. Do they come with real spiders as well?
Of course, dear.
Good. As it should be.
Robin kind of narrows her eyes, looking at Tavin, and takes a slow sip of wine and says, "Don't I know you from somewhere? What, Travis?"
What? Hey,
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Neverwinter?
That must be it. I spent my youth in Neverwinter.
Cool. I'm Tavin.
That's nice to meet you. You run any good scenes up there?
I haven't been back in a while.
At this point, Bella kind of looks disapprovingly at Robin and says, "Dear, not now." She turns and says, "Oh, I'm just giving him a hard time. He looks friendly."
So Kestrel pipes up and says, Matthias, I hope you won't be planning on playing that awful thing.
I won't, since you asked.
Good. We prefer much more melancholy music here. There's an organ. You're welcome to twiddle the ivories.
Get on that then.
"Oh, the organ is just lovely. We just had it cleaned," Piper says. Bella turns and studies Yvelda very curiously, and says, "And who are you, dear?"
"I'm Yvelda." and I'm like kind of like awkwardly trying to stand behind people, which obviously doesn't do any good.
Oh my god, none of us can actually.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And Kestrel's actually going to go up to Agna, and she's going to gesture to her horns and be like, "Oh, I love your style. Who's this?"
Who are you wearing?
And I say, oh, my name's Agna, and yeah, lots of people love my horns and my tail, and I go and tug it and say, Evelda, can you get off my tail, please?
Sorry.
Up and show her. Say yeah.
We're such a charismatic party.
Yeah. Kestrel seems to be like just looking Agna over, like just absolutely studying every single detail.
Kestrel, please don't pull anything on her. Ren says very sternly.
I don't know what you were referring to, dear sister.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. In exactly your voice, she repeats.
I came back too soon.
Does Tavin actually recognize Robin, or is she...
No, Robin recognizes Tavin. So Tavin, Robin is a half elf, so she was much younger. Tavin would have had nothing to do with her. She was too young. But she like knew about him vaguely, like because she was she was in Neverwinter for a time.
And he probably looked the same.
Yeah, he did. He did. Totally did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a few less tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, just one less tattoo. It's
one
the only
less
one so far.
But you can tell Bella isn't too keen on Robin talking about her past.
Okay.
So you kind of look over and you notice that they seem pretty jovial for people who just lost their matriarch. Do you find that suspicious or strange at all?
I
Or you could ask Robin if she recognizes you from Neverwinter.
Yeah, Tavin is super out of his element right now. So, Robin, was it?
Robin Kellic. Yeah. Of course, I wasn't Robin there.
Oh, what'd you go
Bella
by?
kind of elbows her in the ribs, and she spits out her drink a little bit.
Is there a drink around? Can I just like?
Oh yeah, there's wine. Robin says, oh, yes. She grabs a goblet and hands it to you, and it seems very full.
I drink and like avoid eye contact by drinking it.
Would anyone else like some wine? Anything? We have pumpkin juice. We have pickled eyeballs. We have wine. We have spider cobbler. What pick your poison?
Can you mix me a cocktail? You surprise me.
Oh yes, Kestrel. Do you think you could mix something up?
Oh, I think I can mix something up. And she goes off.
So as you, Tavin, as you kind of scan the room, you do notice that there is this very large, very foreboding portrait of an older-looking. She looks like a high elf woman, staring daggers through her portrait, hanging over the mantle of the very large fireplace. Her hand is gnarled, and her nails are long and pitch black as she curls them over a very intricately carved cane. And she stands alone in this portrait and seems extremely dour and disapproving. And the portrait itself almost seems to be watching all of you.
No, I turn to Evelda and say, did you see that picture? I think it's got those funny eyes that go.
Yeah, I don't like looking at it.
Ren from her perch next to you guys kind of notices you noticing the portrait and says, "Oh God, yeah,
Is that
that is Bave." And Ren, Robin kind of looks over and lifts her goblet and says, "To Bave, the sharpest, shrewdest, meanest son of a bitch there ever was." And she cheers. She goes to cheers, and no one seems to really reciprocate, except Piper, sweet Piper, who does not drink, but hands the goblet to her husband to drink, and she gulps down the wine. Ren kind of also does not drink and does not cheer, but does kind of look over bored and notices something in the dark drawing room that it runs adjacent to this, what you can tell is the grand room of the manor. She sees a flash of light, and the goblet that she did have at hand, she sets down slowly, and she walks towards the drawing room. Bella notices this and instantly jabs Robin in the ribs, and Robin, still trying to chug her drink, spits it out once again and looks up in time just to catch Ren entering the room, not quick enough to pull her back. And you hear a howl of rage as Ren suddenly reappears, holding the collars of a man who looks exactly like her, and thrusting him forward into the grand room. She shouts, "What is he doing here?" As the man kind of stumbles forward and brushes his robes off and readjusts. He straightens out his hair and the thing that is holding all of his quills and his compass in the front pocket of his robes. He kind of hustles and says, "Oh, goodness, Ren, is that necessary?" And Robin kind of scrambles and is choking on her wine as Bella glides forward and says, "Dear, he's a member of the family. Bave would have wanted him here." Ren is not pleased to hear this, and she shouts back, "Bave would have never wanted a traitor to be at her service." Bella just stares a withering stares at her, and Ren seems to deflate. You can tell she's still very upset as she shoves the man out of her way and goes stalking off out of the room. If you motion to follow her, Bella very quickly extends an elegant hand and tells, as a gesture, to let her go. And the man saddles up to Robin and says, "Well, thank you, Mother. You were no help at all."
At this moment, Kestrel sidles up to Matthias and hands him a glass containing a inky purple liquid with an inky, like, kind of thick purple liquid, and she has a glass of wine, it seems, in her hand, and she hands it to you to drink.
Bottoms up.
You gonna trust that?
Why not? I never turn away to drink.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
And as you finish the glass, you can feel kind of like like you've kind of swallowed a hair in the back of your throat, and as you finish it, a mass of black spiders come and crawl and swarm around your feet because she gave you a potion of animal friendship that made you friends with the spiders for 1 hour.
Oh my God.
This is your life now.
And and she is cracking up laughing, like just on the other side of the room, like as you just chug this thing, like.
Oh my god, this is so great. I am so happy. I love spiders. They eat flies. Joke's on you guys. You thought you were gonna scare me. Oh my god, so I'm probably what I'm gonna be doing for an hour is just like grabbing a spider and just like having them just like to do like the web that just goes down. That's what I'm gonna be doing. That's how I'm entertaining for the night.
Yeah.
Use the spiders to like puppets. Actually, or they're puppeteering me. One or the other.
Yeah.
We have both.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's great. Yeah.
I go up to Agna and Yavelda and just like, yeah, I think all three of us are just like huddled up in the corner and we're like, what are you guys, what's your, like, how are you guys feeling about this right now?
Super creeped out.
Yeah.
Like, the spiders are cool, though.
Is this just a rich people thing, or like they extra weird?
I think it's a rich people thing because
I think so too.
like, did you see how much silk that Matthias is getting out of those spiders?
Ooh, spider silk.
No wonder that Ren is right into her, her 2mm needles on her silk. Like,
I'm starting to understand Ren a lot more.
me too. I mean, I know she doesn't smile much, but gee, I can kind of tell why.
Oh my god. I'm having a blast here. I have so much web right now to spin later.
So sorry about that. So you see Dove holding holding 2 goblets of pumpkin juice as she approaches your group. And she smiles really serenely at you, and she hands Agna and Yavelda a goblet of pumpkin juice and says, "You might want to drink something. Dinner's not for a few hours, and you seem parched."
I'm okay. I'm gonna kind of like sit it down somewhere else, and yeah, I had a bad experience with drinking things.
Oh my god, are you thinking of what I'm thinking of, Elda? Remember those pink mimosa things?
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm not thirsty, really. But thank you.
Kestrel comes up.
Oh gosh, that was a big mix-up, wasn't it? Oh, I totally understand. You can tell that Dove, her eyes flashed over white completely for a few minutes when you were talking about those mimosas. And as she came back, you kind of get the feeling that she knows exactly what you're talking about in a weird way.
Ooh.
Kestrel comes up behind Dove and says, "Don't worry. She would never pull something like I pulled. Matthias, you're taking it very well. You can come back anytime."
Yay, thank you.
Like, oh, I would never hurt a fly or a spider, Dove says.
I don't think you need to give examples, dear. It's okay. We know.
Oh, there's so many things I wouldn't hurt, like a moth.
Yep. Yeah, and
Or a frog.
she walked her sister back across the room.
Or a cat.
Maybe they want some cake. Let's get them some cake.
Oh, yes. They should have some cake. And her eyes kind of flash over and she says, "Oh, not that cake.
Cake.
It's the good cake."
Ooh, cake.
And she scurries off into the kitchen. Bella kind of approaches you. Robin and the man are having a heated conversation off to the side. Robin kind of trying to get him to lighten up. And Bella strides forward and says, "It's so nice to see that Ren has finally made friends." Ren kind of you would know that Ren would blanch if she were here to hear that, but you can tell that Bella does not care. As she continues forward, and she says, she was also always such a willful child, and other than her sisters, she's really never had friends, and before that, no one. How did you manage to get on her good side?
I think we've saved her life like what 10 times now. So.
Oh, what kind of adventure has she gone on? And Robin kind of hears that and shouts aside, maybe it's the one like where I met you in Neverwinter. And she casts a very cold and withering stare at Robin, and Robin kind of snickers and looks away.
Okay.
We go on like super big dangerous adventures, like all constantly.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's been harpies. There's been dead dragons.
I missed the dragon.
Oh wait, maybe that's that dimension.
There was a dragon. Oh my god.
Well, goodness, you must tell us that.
Yes, please do so.
That sounds fascinating.
It was dead before we got there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
You got the worst storytelling crew right here. Yeah, it was dead. There was someone crazy trying to bring it back to life, which is a really bad idea.
Oh, that sounds great.
Back to life. Kestrel.
What?
No.
What?
No.
I couldn't if I even wanted to.
I know you have that necromancer's address.
Can I have his info?
I'll get it to you later. It's fine. I'll text it to you.
I was about to say number. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
So as you're talking, the man kind of walks back up to you, and he kind of looking at, as bored as he physically can be, through his round spectacles, kind of looks down his nose and says, yes, I'm very sorry about that. I'm sorry about your unfortunate fate to have to spend time with my sister Ren. I am Cooper. I am her brother. I am older. She does not acknowledge this, but I am part of this family, and it's nice to meet you.
Cool.
He's kind of a dick.
Is it like it's a very condescending tone?
It sounds very condescending, but you can't tell if he is being condescending or if he's just born that way.
All right.
I think everyone here is born a very particular way.
Yeah. Kestrel, you know for a fact that he's not doing it on purpose and that he sounds condescending because Ren broke his nose at one time and it never healed the same. It never healed correctly. So it's nasal all the way. So he sounds very monotonous and bored and nasally and just too good for this.
Ooh.
He is also kind of a dick, though.
Yeah. Does he walk away?
He doesn't. He definitely expects. He holds his hand forward, with what you think is a handshake, but is actually a business card, and it's only one business card. You notice. So whoever in the group takes the business card looks down and notices. It
I'll
says.
take it. I take it.
It says. It's very it is pitch black. It is very thick. It's very well made, and it says in metallic lettering, Cooper Kellogg, head head account manager at Monolith Investment, um, Monolith Investment Bank, and that seems pretty weird to you because you were under the impression that everyone kind of worked for the mortuary.
Agna looks over Tavern's shoulder to read the business card, and is a little bit confused and looks at Cooper, and then looks at Ren, and then looks at Cooper.
Oh, Ren has left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ren's gone.
She stormed out.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. If it was 50 years ago, Tavern. Well, no, you were in Neverwinter.
Mhm.
I was gonna say it's like if you had spent any time down here, you would probably notice that as a job you tried to run. Matthias, maybe you recognize that bank as a job you tried to run.
Ooh, that logo does look familiar.
Oh, do you have any stock? Do you have any investments at the Monolith Bank?
Kestrel says to Cooper, read a room. I don't think that's the right place for this.
Oh, yes, terribly sorry. But you know what they say, time is money.
Cha-ching!
I hear that, and I take the business card and stick it into my notebook.
Cooper kind of looks around and says, yes, well, I'm going to explore my old room if we're all quite done here. Mother, if you wouldn't mind ringing me when dinner is ready. I don't partake in spirits. And he kind of stalks out very judgmentally from the room.
Kestrel goes in mimicking his exact tone. Well, you know what they say, time is money.
Wait. Can I do a cantrip and do my vicious mockery of like just extending my hand out and say, yeah, time is money.
Are you gonna damage someone with that? Okay.
No, I just want a good joke from everybody. That's why.
I was gonna say, he can't fight. Don't fight him. You'll kill him. He's a wimp.
I just want everybody to be laughing. There we go. Like the family.
He has left the room, but he definitely does hear the laugh, and he definitely is used to his family laughing at him. He's definitely the black sheep.
Oh.
No, he deserves it. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
He's a jerk. But so you hang out for a couple. You hang out with the family, and you get to know them. You start talking with Sparrow, who is just a ball of energy, and he and Kestrel bounce jokes back from one to the other, and she talks about how fun it is to, especially when the weather is warm, to get out there and test the explosions that Sparrow likes to work with. And as it gets down to it, Robin kind of looks around the room and says, yeah, this is what Babe would have wanted. She would have wanted us to all be happy and working, but happy and productive, but happy.
Is happy really the right word for it, though?
Well, profitable.
And
but
working.
That made her happy. And she kind of notices herself, and she's, I'm so sorry we've been so rude. I forgot to tell you what we all do here. Should you ever need our services. I am the face of the business. I handle all of the front desk work. If you have someone buried here, you've probably seen me. And my beautiful wife, Bella, does our marketing and advertising. She's a very accomplished artist and designer. Bella blushes. Her face flushes at this, and she says, "Oh, stop." Do go on. And Kestrel, would you like to pipe up with what you do here?
Oh, this and that. I really don't know actually what she does.
I was like, I kind of wanted to see what you would come up with, but
Don't even pay attention. It's like just totally your thing.
Sparrow, yeah. Kestrel bounces in. Sparrow kind of pipes in and says, Kestrel bounces in and out, but mostly she helps me with autopsies. It's messy work, but she really makes it fun.
That sounds fun. Can I shadow
She's a
you
great
guys?
lab assistant.
Yeah, that's what I mean by this and that. And Matthias, you actually have to have a good deal of research and scholarly experience in order to do what we do. It's not just cutting open bodies willy-nilly, so
Okay.
just so you know.
Well, sometimes we do cut open willy-nillys, but it takes a lot of practice.
And what is, let me look at, so Matthias, what is your passive wisdom? What's your wisdom modifier plus 10?
-1.
Yeah, you have, as far as you can tell, she is not shitting you whatsoever. She is totally telling the truth.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
College is a rough time.
And Sparrow was just about to launch into you should have seen the willy-nilly on this guy. We had to actually, that's what killed him. You should have seen it. It was the craziest autopsy we ever performed. His goggles kind of shake on his face from his excitement, but just as he's about to tell you the gritty details of this disgusting autopsy, genital-based autopsy, Dove comes back in with a very large cake. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's got it's got what looks to be black spun sugar around it with made into beautiful flowers. Around it is silvery what looks like to be silvery ribbon, but as it moves, you can see that it is actually some other form of spun sugar that is magic to float around the cake. And you see a very large, very beautiful ornamental golden skull on the very top tier of the cake. And you can see the name Bave spelled out in bones on the bottom tier of the cake. Dove seems to glide forward in her beautiful white lace outfit and sets the cake down. And as she does, you see she does stumble a little bit, and some of that silver spun sugar kind of catches on her dark cheek and kind of hangs out there, but it honestly it just makes her look a lot cuter. And she sets down the cake and she says, Bon appetit.
I'm gonna like elbow Agna and be like, get your pockets ready.
Take as much as you want. We made it specially for this, and we can't eat this much cake. We're all allergic to milk. They're actually lactose intolerant. That phrase just doesn't exist yet.
Tavin's starting to warm up to this. Like he can get behind people who have have their style figured out. So
yeah.
Oh boy, do they.
Kestrel will go up to the cake and pinch a little bit of spun sugar off the top and pop it in her mouth and say, it's pretty good, Dove, and kiss her cheek and wipe off the sugar from her cheek.
Oh,
thank you, Kestrel. This is my newest recipe.
Oh, so you made it?
Yes, I bake all our treats.
Wow.
Oh, and I also speak to people who have just passed.
She gets a lot of
eyes go white again.
She gets a lot of really great recipes that way, family secrets. Yeah.
And she comes back and she's like, that's how I learned to spin the sugar.
That's a really good idea. I learned how to do that too, but I haven't gotten a chance to use it.
Oh, it's so great.
Ooh.
I'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yvelda, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I just said, what's the cake made out of?
Dove looks at you very excitedly, and she says, "You'll never believe it, but we have this beautiful patch of sugar bushes right outside of our yard. They're just in front of the graveyard. Kestrel planted them for me. It was so sweet of her. And they grow these beautiful flowers that have the sweetest taste. They taste just like honey. I ground them up and I spun them with a little bit of wine, a little bit of sweet wine into these beautiful ribbons, and we put a little bit of magic in them, and that's how they dance. And the cake is eggs and milk and flour.
Oh, well, it's certainly very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Can I take some for the journey?
If you think there'll be any left, help yourselves.
I'm gonna
So
You
kind
can
of,
tell that Dove bakes a lot.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
turn to Agna and be like, maybe don't take any if Kestrel planted those sugar.
I'm
And
gonna
she-
take.
Yvelda, can you make a stealth check to see how
Yeah, Kestrel's
quietly
good
you say
ears.
that?
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I'll put a big slice in my my bagpipes. For the road.
Oh, we can always send you out with more cake.
Oh, thank
I
you.
make I make pastries too. Oh, I should make you some pastries when you go.
Can I get adopted by this family? In all honesty.
Probably.
12.
A 12? Yeah, I would say that as soon as you say that, like, Kestrel gives you a little look and a little wink. It's fine. I'd never do anything to hurt my sister.
Aw.
You can trust that.
Suddenly you hear a loud yowl and a smattering of curses from outside of the door as you didn't notice before, but there's a cat door, little cat door in the in pretty much every door that you see, and out comes running a pitch black cat with glowing orange eyes. With its what looks like its tail a little bit bent, and you recognize that that was Cooper's voice who cursed. And as the little black furball darts past you and up and out through the hallway, following where Red went, you hear Bella say, "Oh, good, Lucretia's awake. That'll make her feel better."
We've heard that name before. Didn't she mention Lucretia before?
Oh, yes. That's her cat. She's been terribly lonely without Ren. She doesn't like anyone but her. She's a great cat.
Are there other cats?
Oh, goodness, yes. There's actually a whole cat colony off the side of the island.
Oh my God!
That part. But Lucretia likes to live here.
I want to see the cat.
Oh, of course, dear. And she leads you over to a door that was closed, and she opens it, and you see it's a sunroom. And there are tons of like wooden posts and trees, and you see like 12 cats, and they are all just happy as can be. There's like an orb glowing at the top of the sunroom, which looks like a mini sun, and they're just basking. They're just happy as can be.
Okay,
My
I'm
mental.
gonna go sit in the middle of the room and just wait for the cats to come to me.
They swarm you.
Question:
Uh-huh.
Is the drinks? Am I still affected by the drink of like animals just like coming up to me, or not
Yes.
anymore?
Yes, you
No,
are.
it's not been an hour.
Okay, good.
It's almost been an hour.
I'm gonna go play with the cats as well.
My
And the
mental
spider.
image right now is just gothic Neko Atsume.
Yes, goth Neko Etsume.
Am I able to get Robin alone?
Not unnoticeably.
Okay.
Bella, you can see Bella kind of watches her like a hawk. So you might have to save that for maybe just before or just after dinner.
And do people seem, because a lot of them are half elves, and there was only their one elven family member. Do they seem weird around me?
Not at all.
React? Okay.
Not at all. Robin is the only one, but it's because she thinks she recognizes you.
Okay.
Yeah, no. This family, their clientele is actually pretty diverse. And it would be foolish business practices on top of being really shitty if they were like weird about people. But no, they so you all have a pretty jovial time. I assume Agna is eating a bunch of cake. Yvelda and Matthias are living it up in the cat sunroom, which the doors are now open, so the cats can roam in and out. They usually just like their privacy, so that's why they keep the door closed. Tavin, you got that wine buzz, and everyone is kind of speaking jovially. Piper and Dove have settled into a comfortable conversation, and then you hear a loud ringing, and a voice kind of moans through the hallways, dinner within the half hour.
I love your voices.
Thank you. I worked really hard on those. I like practice.
You're showing me up. You're not going to be allowed to DM anymore.
Well, it was a one shot, so I was like, I'm gonna go for it. And you can tell dinner is almost ready. So Bella in particular kind of stands up extremely gracefully and with kind of that with her elegance, she looks at you with her graceful frame, and she seems to be really hamming it up. I may be showing off for her wife, who knows? But she says, "Kestrel Dove, dears, go wash up for dinner and show our guests where they can get cleaned up as well, if you don't mind." And she strides out of the room with and waits for Robin to hold her arm out so that she can join hers with theirs, and they glide out together. Robin whispering into Bella's ears and Bella giggling. Right. You can tell they're still very much in love.
That's cute.
So Dove says, "Oh no, Kestrel, I forgot. I was supposed to make rolls for the dinner. I have to go back into the kitchen. Could you show them where to get ready?"
Of course.
Thank you. She hugs Kestrel and then flits off to the kitchen.
Okay, fine. Follow me. And she heads upstairs. You go up a lot of stairs, like a number of different staircases. And at one point, you start walking downstairs, and you're very confused. It turns out Kestrel has just been kind of fucking with you guys because it's such a large house. And she knows that for most people, it doesn't take half an hour to wash up before dinner. So she's just kind of running a little energy out of you guys before you go down for dinner. She finally leads you to a hallway that has a number of very large oak doorways, which look like they haven't been used. They haven't been touched in a while. The crannies of the doorways have gathered dust, tops of the doorknobs as well. And she says, "Well, everything's in here for you all, and I actually do have to get going one moment. And she goes off without actually giving you guys an introduction or, directing you to which rooms you're supposed to stay in or anything. You're just in this hallway with about 6 large oak doorways. Have fun! See you downstairs in about 15 minutes.
Hope you can find it.
Yeah. They're just normal guest bedrooms. You might have to take some white sheets off that have been keeping things from gathering dust, but all in all, it might smell a little musty, but it's just a regular old bedroom.
Yeah, the decor is very dark. The windows are very thin and high, and the portraits are very creepy. But all in all, it's pretty much a typical guest room. You can tell that they don't use these a lot.
Yep.
Are we all in one room?
No, there are separate rooms actually, and they have adjoining bathrooms. So 2 of you are sharing a bathroom.
And Ren is not with us, right?
No, but you do hear what sounds like her voice from Yvelda, your guest room, from like up from the ceiling.
Oh, like upstairs.
You can kind of hear her saying like, Lucretia, why would they do that to me? So the bathrooms are pretty confusing. They're old, and you just barely figure out how to get the water systems to work when you hear another gong and it says 5 minutes until dinner.
And it's a little bit
and
eerie.
You know that is your cue to try to find dinner.
It's a little bit eerie, actually, because it's the exact same volume as when you were in the main chamber. You can tell that there's some kind of magical way that they broadcast this, but it seems it's
so
a very
magic
yes, yeah, definitely.
Wow, this place is running water. That's fancy.
I have a question. Is there any couches in the rooms?
Yes, it definitely has a dust cover on it. That it's one of those tufted couches. It's very elaborate, and it is all in black.
Can I just put my hands on the corner, like under the cushion, and just try to see what I could find?
Sure. Could you do me a favor?
Yes.
Could you roll sleight of hand?
What sleight of hand is a D20?
Yes, that's a D20, and your sleight of hand skill will be in your skills on your D&D Beyond sheet.
I got a 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Well, 5 dice roll. Hold on, let me just look for the. It's not in skills. Give me 1 second. Where in the sheet would it be? Sleight of hand?
Yeah, so sleight of hand is in that long list of skills.
Oh.
Near the bottom.
So 10 in total.
Okay, so you reach your hand under, and as you reach it under, you feel a sharp pain in the tip of your pointer finger, and you reel it back out of the couch, and then you see a little, you see what you recognize as a little dust mephite crawling out from the couch and snickering at you before it poofs off into nothingness.
All right. No chum change here, I guess.
No. Just dust mephits.
Okay, no worries.
So you are now tasked to find dinner if you want to eat.
Oh, me?
All of you.
Yeah.
Wait,
So I would have everybody roll a
I am
survival
pretty
check.
hungry.
Oh,
Are we doing
Melissa,
dinner?
you're muted.
Ah! I would have everyone roll a survival check to see if they can actually navigate.
Yeah, let's roll survival and
Yeah.
see if you guys are able to find your way back. If you were like paying attention to where Kestrel was taking you.
D20, right? Yep.
Is Ren's voice still upstairs?
No, it has now left. She's making her way to dinner. You
Okay.
assume.
I got a 13.
A 13?
Got a 20.
Well,
A nat 20.
Natural
Okay.
20.
Great. So you're able to, so Matthias, you were actually paying attention because the little trail of spiders, the spell is wearing off. So those little spiders actually started breaking off and stopped following you just as you got to your room. So you guys are actually able to track back using your spiders. You don't make it all the way, but you do run back into Ren in the hallway, and she says, What are you doing here?
What do you mean? Where? Like,
This
what's
is
here?
the library hallway.
Oh, I'm just falling to spiders.
Oh, well, come, it's dinner time.
Okay.
And she leads you the rest of the way, she leads you the rest of the way into a dining hall that is very deceptively cozy. The walls are dark. The table is a black lacquer. The chandelier is a formation of silvery skulls with flames in their eyes and their mouths. They look like three flame skulls that have been molded together to form one beautiful but very foreboding chandelier. You notice Lucretia is following Ren, and she stares back at you and kind of disapprovingly, but she is a cat, so who knows what that means. So the dining hall has a special bed on a raised platform specifically for Lucretia, and she goes and she scampers over there and settles right in, and her bed is very close to Ren's assumed chair. But the person sitting in Ren's assumed chair is none other than her brother Cooper. And she stiffens immediately, and you see flames start to flicker at her hand.
Oh. Interesting.
You can tell she's about to do something that she might regret.
Oh.
Because her kitty's right there.
But
I'll
step in front of Ren and be like, Ren, let's walk over this way, and like move her in the other direction.
She acquiesces. She follows you, and she just. And as she's breathing in and out, the flame gets bigger and smaller in her hand, and she's like, "Ugh, I hate him." And the rest of the family files in, and Robin sees Cooper right there and immediately dashes over and scoots him out of the seat and into a different seat. Cooper seems very put off by this, but yields anyway, and he actually sits at the far end of the table away from that seat. So you all, she motions you all and says, "Oh, good, you all found it. I'm so glad." Well, I hope you're ready for a fun dinner. This is all of Babe's favorites, so we'll see what that means. And she kind of sits down at the head of the table with Bella at the opposite head of the table. And the family files into what is their assumed regular seat. Ren is finally calm enough to go sit at her table, and chairs kind of hover back from the table as you approach them, so that you may sit.
Yeah, I sit.
As soon as you sit down, you see a very stout, short-looking man waddle through the door, carrying a tray on the top of his head. His skin is gray, and his eyes are very large and sunken. The bags around them are very dark, and his lips are so thin they seem to be receding behind his big toothy smile. And he wears a very put together three-piece suit with a very cinched tie and striped pants, and he carries the large tray to the table and very suddenly pushes it up in the air and whips it, and it magically lands. Um, you believe for a minute that it's going to come careening towards you and spill all over you, but each silvery dish lands very meticulously at a specific spot in the table. You see that Babe was a woman of particular taste. So you see a duck that has been roasted with some kind of interesting gel over it. And you see its feet have been pickled and have been presented to the heads of the household, one each as a delicacy. You see Robin grimacing and Bella kind of looking less than happy. You can tell that this dinner was one of Babe's requests and that no one is really happy to fulfill it. So, dish after dish of very odd combinations of food that you're not too familiar with seem to line up in front of you. And the one saving grace here really are the rolls that Dove brings forward. Um, she uh, she she glides out into the room and says, "These are fresh baked. They're oh gosh, they're my favorite. These are crab puffs, and these are butter uh, these are puff pastries. These are meat pies. You can tell she's really outdone herself. She has several savory pastry options for you, and unless you love all of this stuff, that's probably what you might be gorging yourself on. Um, Cooper, in particular, seems to very much enjoy the jellied duck, because he's a weirdo, and you can tell you can tell he probably grew up eating it, but no one else really ate it. And Ren in particular is savagely attacking the herring casserole. Anything with fish on the plate, Ren is going for it.
Yep. Kestrel will have like a bun or two from Dove, but she's mostly gonna have a liquid dinner. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the wine, free refills all night, everybody. And the selection of beverages, pumpkin juice, this delicious bubbling drink that tastes like the sweetest lime you've ever drank. That one is particularly popular.
Tavin tries all of that, including the jellied duck, just because he's curious.
So I
make a Constitution saving throw.
No, actually, Tavin takes a bite and he discovers that the jelly duck is actually delicious. What it's jellied in is it has been preserved in its own fat and roasted in a really particular way. So to preserve the flaky skin and the buttery meat underneath. And you can tell that the rest of the family are just fish people. They just didn't like duck. The duck was prepared perfectly. It's just not their thing. Cooper's the only one who likes it.
This is bringing me back to having Peking duck in Beijing, and it was so good.
Yeah. So it's kind of a spin-off of Peking duck. It's just that the visual presentation is not good. Whereas with Peking duck, the visual presentation is great. Depending on how you get it. And how you feel about heads.
Yep. I think this is the theme of the day. It looks weird, but it's pretty cool.
When Yavelda sees Tavin enjoying the duck, she grabs a whole bunch of it.
So, you guys feel like extremely rejuvenated after this dinner. Like there was just something in that duck that just like woke you up. Like you are like ready to go. It's there was, and you kind of ask about it, and Dove, the Dove kind of hears your query and says, "Oh, um, Lark." And the squat man huddles out from the kitchen and says, "Yes, Miss Dove." Um, she says, "Dear, what is the fruit that you use with the duck?" Um, and he says, "It's the sweet lime that we get from the life tree out in the back. It was Bay's favorite." And you can tell that that life tree is that way for a reason, and you can kind of think like you might want to pick some of these limes before you go.
Ooh, yeah.
Puts in my bagpipe.
Yeah. So
I look
dinner.
at, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I see Matthias doing all of this throughout the night, right? Like putting shit in his
Yeah,
bagpipe.
yeah. He's not sneaky about it.
How many infections have you gotten from that?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
That
I
just,
wrapped
Where
it
in
just
the
can't be
bagpipe are you putting it?
just just like where the mouthpiece are. Just like looking it in there.
No one will ever steal his bagpipe because it's so gross.
I clean it once in a while.
So dinner is about to go off without a hitch. There's a lot of friendly conversation going around, just more continuation of what was in the grand room until Cooper makes a very sly comment about someone named Xandar, and Ren has just had enough. She slams her hands on the table and looks at him dead in the eye and says, "I don't care if Babe is dead. You are not welcome here. I want you gone tomorrow." And she stalks out of the room once again, completely missing dessert, which is a different kind of cake and also a special tart.
Ooh.
This time, when Ren stalks out of the room, Robin does follow her, and Lucretia as well is always following Ren. And Tavin in particular, you notice that these two have left the room.
Yeah, I grab a tart and can I try to like sneakily follow?
Sure. I don't think anyone would mind if you left. I think everyone's pretty engorged in the tart that Dove made.
Okay, fine. All right, I don't need to be too sneaky. Cool.
Except I think I think the only one who would notice are your companions right next to you. So I assume that Matthias and probably Yvelda are sitting right next to you. But
yeah.
they probably.
I don't notice.
I was gonna say it's like
I'm eating.
Okay. I don't even say anything then if no one notices.
Yeah, I'm assuming Matthias does not care.
Not at all. I'll just eat anything.
You make it.
I guess I'll, just in case, I'll pretend to be a little tipsy, like look for the bathroom. Okay, but I follow them.
Yeah. Okay. So you follow them and you hear hushed conversation, and it is Robin and Ren, and Ren is kind of Ren is very audibly frustrated. She is whispering like, "I just don't understand why he's here. I don't get it. He betrayed the family. He is doing everything that Babe stood against. She knew we had a duty for the family. That is what we are about. We are about duty. We are about tradition. We are about putting the family first." And Robin says back, I hear you, but Babe had it in her will that he be here. She wanted the whole family here. You know how important the family was. She let me back. She let me come back. You know how important family is to her. And Ren snaps back, exactly. So why is he here? And her voice kind of escalates, and Robin says, quiet. Now, you're both my children. And you know, he is your older brother. You could pay him some respect. And Ren scoffs at this and says, he's no brother of mine. And you can hear you can hear the sound of parchment being unfolded, and Robin says, I know you found this before you left. And you hear it gets very quiet as the parchment rustles. And Ren whispers, it's not my job to do that. Robin says, it says here that it is. You know that it's your job. You're not going to deny an old woman her last dying wish, are you? Ren is silent for what feels like a good solid minute. And then she says, I don't know why she wanted me to do this. She hated me. And then Robin says, oh, honey, she didn't hate you. She hated everyone. I mean, God, she kicked me out when I was, what, 20? All for running out on an arranged marriage. She hated us all. That's why she made us sit through that dinner. That's why she's making us do this now. You do this, you have it over with, she never bothers us again. And Ren kind of says, fine. I will do this one last thing, and that's it. Then I am going to go back out there. I'm going to figure out what this means. She holds another scrap of parchment. You hear another scratch of parchment. Sounds much older, kind of unfurling and crinkling. And Robin says, honey, that's a dead end. You don't even want to go there. And Ren says, I'm going to figure it out whether you want me to or not. And Robin says, you know what? Fine. I give you my blessing to pursue that. I'll even help you. We'll send you money if you need it. We'll send you messages from Lucretia. We'll give you updates about her. You can always come back here whenever you want. You can teleport. You'll have our full support on your adventure. Just do this last thing. And you hear the finality in Robin's voice. It's a serious tone that you hadn't heard in her voice all night. And Ren says, fine, but I want you to know I'm doing this for the family. All of this. And then you hear footsteps approaching.
Grab my amulet, Cloak of Shadows. I turn invisible for 6 seconds. Is that enough time for them to walk past me?
Yeah. So Robin walks past you, and she's visibly very frustrated. She runs a hand through her hair, and it messes up. And the lines on her face seem to be etched much deeper in her face. You can see she's even older than she lets on. And if she isn't, she has seen a hard life. You see a side of her that you didn't see all night from the jovial nature that she was putting forth, but she looks very tired. And she walks past you back into the dining room, and you hear footsteps walking off the opposite way from you.
And on that cliffhanger, we are going to end tonight's episode. We are so glad that you guys joined us for another exciting episode of Dungeons and Drops Stitches. Thank you so much for joining us. Follow us along on Instagram and join in on our Ravelry group if you want to keep up to date. And just so you guys know, all future episodes of Dungeons and Drop Stitches will be in this format where we upload our episodes, and hopefully that'll work out better for all of us, not having to deal with the streaming quality problems. So we will be bringing an episode to you guys as often as we can, but with so many people with so many different schedules, it's unfortunately can't be super consistent. So thank you guys for your understanding, and we can't wait to adventure with you guys again soon. Have a great night. Bye.